Hi, Michelle. And we're all heading up to Hillview for the big day. Hi, Robin. Graduation day at Hillview. And over there somewhere. We're close enough. I think we're fine. Pop banana. Goes down the water. Candy. Kay's back there somewhere. There's Kay. Oh no. My camera is already out of gas.
Welcome to Hillview graduation. Could you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I don't know if you can see it, but the flag's down over this way towards the portables. Once again, welcome to a solemn but joyous occasion, graduation night at Hillview School. We hope this comes off okay. One little glitch, we may have students, if because of the change in order that we made today, you get the wrong diploma.
Throughout our lives, friends have always been there for us. They've always been there to congratulate us when we've done well, and to support us when things weren't going just the way we'd like them to. This poem we've written is a tribute to our friends, how they've changed, and how they've helped us to change, especially during these past 3 years at Hillview.
When we were young, maybe 5 or 6, our friends were of a cheerful mix. We'd work at school for a whole half day and then invite friends over to play. In the schoolyard, we'd play with toys, not gossip among the girls and boys.
In first and second grade, we started to learn. Now our small minds began to churn. We'd swing a bat and kick a ball, and sometimes we might even fall. But our friends would be there to help us rise, and if we got benched, they'd be right by our side.
Third grade was kind of a bore. Our lives were almost the same as before. We'd look out the window as the rain came down. When we came back muddy, our moms would frown. By the end of third grade, we had gotten our fill. Next year, we'd be king of the hill.
Fourth grade was when boys and girls would attract, but at our young age, we didn't know quite how to act. We fought and we teased and even pulled hair, but Catherine's nails were longer. It wasn't quite fair. This was a time when true friends were shown. We all had friends. No one was alone.
Fifth grade brought about a rapid change. District boundaries had been rearranged. Now new friendships had to be formed. Towards our new friends, we were kind and warm. At the end of fifth grade, we were finally gone. It was time for Hillview. It was time to move on.
Finally, we were at Hillview Middle School, the melting pot between Oak Knoll and Encinal. Many felt lonely, trapped, and had fear, but we knew that soon we'd be used to it here.
It would be 3 years before we'd see Hillview's end, so people began to open themselves to friends. We leaned toward friends because parents never quite knew exactly what it was we were going through.
Girls were a growing topic of discussion. Some guys would hold back, while others would rush in. When it came to girls, we had to contend. We weren't just boys. Now we were men.
Now when friends came over to play, all our toys just got in the way. We left school knowing that we'd all return next fall. For the summer we said goodbye to one and all.
We were back again in the 7th grade. Many changes over the summer had been made. We were older, smarter, and more mature. If there was a problem with a friend, we'd find the cure.
Now with friends we'd go out at night. If our parents said no, we'd put up a fight. If a girl would break our young heart, a friend would be there to lessen the hurt.
When it came to girls, we had not a clue when, where, why, or what they would do. By the end of the year, there was a new craze around. We were rollerblading up and down town.
This new form of fun fascinated us all, but on one final day, it came to a fall. We'll leave it at that, and you'll soon hear the rest. We're all so lucky it came out for the best.
When we started 8th grade, we were on top of the school. We were worshipped by all and thought to be cool. Many fought to be as cool as they could, but what they ended up doing was not always good.
People started trying things they should not, such as alcohol, cigarettes, and even pot. Many have learned a friend is not one to impress. Friendship shouldn't depend on what you do and how you dress.
Close friends started to drift apart, and that's when new friendships began to start. A friend of ours seemed to be caught, constantly trying to be someone he's not.
For a time in his life, he was going downhill. To get back up, it took all of his will. Friends were there to help him out of his jam. Now it seems he's a whole new man.
Right now, we'd like to thank all of our friends. We hope our relationships will never end. When we think of you for these past 9 years, we'd like to give you a million cheers.
Throughout the years, you've always helped change how we act and how we felt. With the support of our friends, we're well on our way. We may be lawyers and doctors someday.
These past 3 years have been a bumpy ride, but as you can see, we've made it out alive.
So as you can see, friends have always been there for us when we needed them. Next year, when we all move on to high school, the support of our friends will be essential to making our 4 years there happy ones. Since some of our friends will be going to different high schools, we will need to make new friendships to replace the ones lost by our transfer. Hopefully these new friendships will last through high school and beyond. These will be our friends for life, our friends forever.
Would you please hold your applause till the subject area is over? Shannon D. Maria, Michelle Sieben, Darren Heredia, Carolyn Miller, Kara Frederick, Adam Lauritsen, and Jared Brubaker. For Susie Dalton, Damian Strayhorn, Ryan Sandoval, and Michelle Sieben. In drama, a solo act, Jessica Canty. Nick Kleeman Keller, Catherine Kixmiller, and Ryan Sandoval.
Social Studies.
Two fine musicians were Ricky Lee.
Rise in their lives because of this change. There are two ways change can be invoked. One is the conscious willing of change, and the other is when change is forced upon us. No one ever escapes change. In fact, it's often been said that nothing is as constant as change. Throughout the course of history, change has not always been easy. One of the most tragic consequences of change in American history was the Civil War. Because of Abraham Lincoln's desire to preserve the Union at all costs and meet the resistance of the people of the South, many lives were lost.
You probably know from your kids. We'd like to especially recognize the following students: Eric Bailey, please stand, Kyle Ann Hunter, Ricky Lee, Susie Dalton, Kara Frederick, Austin Nelson, Ryan Sandoval, Nick Kleeman Keller, Adam Lauritsen, and Michelle Sieben. We also are giving out 4 scholarship awards.
But as to the test, there are some people that say that life is a series of tests you must go through and pass in order to be successful. In my opinion, you are looking at a group of people who have undergone a number of tests, and each one has come out victorious.
In memory of their son Jeff, who attended Hillview. The criteria for the award are as follows. The student needs to have displayed the following characteristics: school spirit through involvement in school and classroom activities, curiosity and wonder about the world around him or her, concern for others, helpfulness, kindness, cheerfulness, and a sense of humor, academic growth and achievement, and positive attitude and citizenship. The Hillview faculty chooses 3 or 4 nominees each year, whose names are given to the Sorrells family to select the scholarship winner. This year, as we did last year, we would like to publicly recognize all of the nominees, for we feel that simply being nominated by the Hillview staff is a tremendous honor. With the following 3 nominees, please stand when your name is called and come down and receive a medal emblematic of Hillview's appreciation. Please come down first, Kelly Gallo. Just wait there, Kelly. Next, Nick Kleeman Keller. And finally, Jessica Canty. Okay, you guys can all go take your seats. And I'd like to introduce Mrs. Diane Sorrells, who is here this year to present this year's scholarship award. And she's accompanied by the Sorrells Award winner from 4 years ago, I think it was, graduated from high school this year, Josh Russell. Mrs. Sorrells.
Bear with me, this is my first year to give the award. Usually my husband is the one to do that. He is working this evening. And I get a little bit teary-eyed just when I see these fine young people just, stand up and we see the faces that go with the names that were presented to us. 4 years ago, we got 3 other names to select from, and we chose Josh Russell. Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Sorrells. The recipient of this year's Jeff Sorrells Scholarship Award is Kelly Gallo.
Graduation. Graduation. 2 years ago, the class of 93's graduation seemed like a far-off thought. 2 years ago, I was seated in the band next to me, playing Pomp and Circumstance, and it felt like it would be an eon before I heard that song again. It's almost as if I went into a coma after 6th grade and just woke up a few minutes ago, because everything since June of '91 has happened so quickly. Throughout 8th grade, our English reading curriculum has dealt with 5 seeds of change that Columbus brought over from his voyage to America. These 5 seeds affected Europeans, Native Americans, and eventually the world greatly, changing people's lives forever. The ironic thing is,
over the last 2 years, I've watched this class grow, develop, mature into the fine young people you see before you tonight. Since we've shared so much together, laughter, tears, successes, failures, heartbreak, love, phone calls, lectures, and secrets, I had pages and pages of notes. I had no idea where to begin. But inspiration comes at the strangest times. Last Friday, when I was taking one of my classes to the library, I overheard a conversation between 2 of my students, and I knew how to tie 2 years of memories together. These students were performing a Hillview ritual that I'd seen hundreds of times before. You see, the ceilings of the halls that cover our outdoor walkways are just beyond reach, so that they can't help but try and run and jump like basketball stars trying to touch it. Last Friday, one of the shorter 8th graders was having a little trouble touching the ceiling. And his friend told him jokingly that in order to graduate from Hillview, he would have to touch that ceiling. Now, if the ceilings in our hallways were easily touched, there would be no challenge. There would be no reaching, no jumping, and no goal to attain. Though touching the ceiling is not a graduation requirement, these students have been challenged by teachers, by families, and by friends to reach their personal best. The challenges, the reaching, the extending, the hurdles this class has gone through remind me of a track team. In meeting these challenges and competing as individuals to do their best, they also worked together, cheered each other on as a team. 6th grade was the preliminaries, the getting ready, the necessary step toward excellence. 7th grade was the practice, developing skills by learning to do them correctly and then repeating them over and over. And 8th grade was the meat, where all their practice would pay off. They had to learn who they were and what they could do. They needed to refine their skills, and they had to rise to the occasion and meet the challenges ahead of them. The class of '93 is made up of individuals with special skills and abilities like any team. Just as our school has different hallways and various heights to reach, these individuals have their own goals to attain, stretched and challenged by this vibrant, energetic group, and I found it invigorating. I'm sure the class of '93 would like for me to thank all of the coaches over the years. I especially want to recognize Mr. Wayne Muhlstein, who's retiring this year. I know the graduates will remember you in the years to come, especially when they're doing well in math or involved in a project in woodshop. Thanks, Coach Muhlstein. I want to thank the class of '93 for 2 years of wonderful memories. I've appreciated your sense of fun and your sense of humor. I hope someday you forgive me for my April Fool's Day jokes. I'll miss the boys' club that greeted me every morning, hot chocolate on cold days, your help lighting candles on Snickers bars before we sang happy birthday, skiing with you, going to raging waters, going out to lunch, listening to you sing or play music, and counseling you in my office. You know, you've become more than students to me. You've become real friends. I appreciate this opportunity to say goodbye, and I hope the ceilings in high school